Just like there's a long list of liberal celebrities who swear they'll go if a Republican is elected, and no one ever does. Miley Cyrus once said, "I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean." Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan. In 2016, Eddie Griffin said, "If Trump wins, I'm moving to Africa." Apparently very slowly, because in Trump's 4 years, he only got as far as Van Nuys. George Lopez once said that if Trump won, he won't have to worry about immigration. We'll all go back. George Lopez, still here.
You know, there's a running joke in America that never seems to die. Every election cycle, without fail, celebrities line up to announce they're leaving the country if a Republican wins. And yet, surprise, surprise, not a single one of them ever follows through. Not once. All that drama, all those headlines, and not one packed suitcase. Take Miley Cyrus, for example. Back in 2016, she swore up and down that if Donald Trump became president, she was out, gone, moving abroad. She even doubled down, saying, "I don't say things I don't mean." Well, fast forward to today, where's Miley? Sitting front row at the Grammys in Los Angeles. Not exactly hiding out in Tajikistan. If that's what she calls exile, sign me up. And she's not alone. Eddie Griffin said he was heading to Africa if Trump won. 4 years went by, and let's just say the farthest he got was probably across town. George Lopez once joked that if Trump won, he wouldn't even need to be deported. He'd just go back on his own. Spoiler alert, George is still here, still working, still cashing checks. It's always the same script. Bold proclamations, applause from their fans, headlines for a few days, then crickets. Not a moving truck in sight. And here's where the irony kicks in. These are the same people who love to lecture the rest of us about morality, fairness, justice, and how terrible America supposedly is. They scream that this country is a dystopian nightmare, but when push comes to shove, they're not going anywhere. Because deep down, they know what we all know. For all its flaws, there's no place better.
Maybe the problem isn't that America isn't worth defending. Maybe the problem is that lots of people today are entitled whiners who have no perspective and no idea how good they have it. 59% of self-identified liberals say there have been times when they considered leaving America for good, like after NBC canceled The West Wing.
And that's exactly the point Bill Maher hammered home in his latest takedown of woke celebrities. And let me tell you, it was brutal but hilarious. Maher didn't just poke fun at the hypocrisy, he shredded it. He called out this parade of spoiled celebrities who act like leaving the U.S. would somehow be a noble act of resistance. But in reality, it's pure theater. Nothing more than performative nonsense for social media clout. Think about it. They wail about how they can't live in Trump's America, but where exactly are they planning to go? Russia, where you can literally get thrown in prison for calling the Ukraine war a war? Please.
Russia just referring to the war in Ukraine as a war can get you 15 years in the fabulous prisons made famous by some of the world's most famous novels. You think America's evil because we didn't nominate Margot Robbie for an Oscar? Just wait till you get thrown out the window of your very own dream house.
China, where 50 different crimes carry the death penalty. Uganda, where simply being gay can land you on death row. Or maybe Venezuela, where criticizing the government can get you locked up indefinitely. Yeah, somehow I don't see Hollywood stars rushing to pack for any of those destinations, because let's be real, their version of suffering in America is attending the Grammys instead of the Golden Globes. Or worse, brace yourself, not winning an Oscar. Boo-hoo. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is literally risking life and limb just for the chance to come here. That's not a coincidence.
Uganda? Oh, they don't just give you a ticket for parking in the rear. You can get the death penalty for it. In China, they have the death penalty for almost 50 crimes. And in 13 countries, atheism is punishable by...
And here's where Maher's message cuts even deeper. It's not just about celebrities anymore. Regular folks are now jumping on TikTok, posting videos saying things like, "The new American dream is to leave." Really? You've got kids online bragging, "I escaped America." Escaped from what exactly? The Starbucks line? Free Wi-Fi? The ability to drag your own government on social media without vanishing into a gulag? Please, that's when Maher hit the nail on the head. The wall we argue about in America, it's not there to keep you in. Nobody's holding you hostage. If you really don't like it here, there are 195 other countries just waiting for you.
Then there's all the TikToks telling Americans things like,
I think the new American dream is to leave.
I'm 18 years old and I escaped America.
yeah. Yeah, you don't have to escape America. That wall we're always debating isn't to keep you in.
But let's be real. If America is really so awful, then why is everyone else fighting to get in, not out? And that's the question nobody on TikTok or in Hollywood ever seems willing to answer. If this country is truly the nightmare that woke celebrities and online activists paint it to be, then why do millions of immigrants risk everything just to touch U.S. soil? Why do people float across oceans, crawl under fences, and spend years on waiting lists just for the chance at American citizenship? You don't see people sneaking into North Korea or Venezuela. You don't see caravans headed for Saudi Arabia, where women can't even choose their own clothing. But you do see people risking their lives to get into the supposedly horrible United States. That alone should shut down the entire argument, and here's where Maher's point lands hardest. The real problem is in America, it's entitlement. Too many people are so blinded by privilege, they've lost all perspective. They live better than 90% of the planet, yet still act like they're prisoners in some dystopian nightmare.
And 61 imposed restrictions on women's clothing, so bring a scarf. According to Amnesty International, paramilitary groups killed the government's critics in Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, and arbitrary detentions are widespread in Cuba, Ecuador, El Salvador, Nicaragua. If you're wondering how that's just like no cash bail, it's not.
Take the LGBTQ plus community, for example. Yes, there are still challenges in America, nobody's denying that. But compared to most of the world, this country is their safest haven. In over 60 nations, being gay is literally a crime. In some, it can even cost you your life. Meanwhile, in the US, you have pride parades, anti-discrimination protections, marriage equality, media representation, and the freedom to live openly. Yet, somehow, there are activists insisting they need to escape this supposed oppressive nightmare. Escape to where exactly? Europe, where hate crimes are still widespread. Africa, where dozens of countries still criminalize homosexuality. It's not oppression. It's delusion privilege so extreme it blinds people to the reality that, globally speaking, America isn't the problem. It's the exception.
New Republic just ran a story about the vulnerable minorities who want to flee America, including the author, a gay man trapped in the dystopian homophobic hellscape that is New York City. I wonder if he knows that there are 66 countries where just being gay is a crime. Cute story in the news last month. Burundi's president called on his citizens to stone gay people, and not in the good way. Wow, suddenly the don't say gay law doesn't sound all that bad.
Take the LGBTQ plus community, for example. Yes, there are still challenges in America, nobody's denying that. But compared to most of the world, this country is their safest haven. In over 60 nations, being gay is literally a crime. In some, it can even cost you your life. Meanwhile, in the US, you have pride parades, anti-discrimination protections, marriage equality, media representation, and the freedom to live openly. Yet, somehow, there are activists insisting they need to escape this supposed oppressive nightmare. Escape to where exactly? Europe, where hate crimes are still widespread. Africa, where dozens of countries still criminalize homosexuality. It's not oppression. It's delusion privilege so extreme it blinds people to the reality that, globally speaking, America isn't the problem. It's the exception.
Confused by this political message. Vote for me because I hate it here. Now, does America have big problems? Yes, I've often cited the America sucks list. Things like being 54th in the world in infant mortality behind Cuba, 19th in literacy behind Russia, 72nd in female representation in government behind Iraq. A lot of work to do here. And is it possible for a country to lose itself so much that leaving it is justified? Yes, but we're not there yet, not by a long shot, and we don't need quitters. We need people who will stay and fix.
And let's be brutally honest, most celebrities wouldn't survive 5 minutes in the real struggles everyday Americans face. They don't know what it's like to lose sleep over a mortgage, to stretch a paycheck until the end of the month, or to panic over medical bills that could sink your family. Their idea of hardship is choosing between flying private or just settling for first class. That's why their political lectures ring so hollow. They live in a bubble, completely disconnected from reality, yet somehow feel entitled to tell the rest of us how we should live. And the hypocrisy doesn't even stop there. These same people who trash America as some oppressive hellscape are also the loudest voices demanding we throw open our borders. Hold on. If America is really as awful as they say, why would you invite more people into it? Why encourage immigrants to come suffer in this so-called dystopia? The logic collapses under its own weight.
I don't get it. You want so badly for every immigrant to come to this country and experience the good life, but somehow it's so terrible you want to leave? And I see conservatives in Texas are talking secession again. They have 2 bumper stickers in that state. America, love it or leave it, and we're leaving it.
The contradiction is glaring. If America really is the hellhole they describe, wouldn't the moral thing be to warn people away, not drag them in? It doesn't add up unless you realize it was never about principle. It's about optics. It's about attention. It's about clout. And that's why Maher's takedown resonated. Because he stripped away the theatrics and exposed the truth. These so-called celebrity resistance statements are nothing more than virtue signaling. They don't want accountability. They want applause. They want to look brave without ever making a single real sacrifice. But here's the part that gets me every time. Despite all the whining, all the TikToks, all the Grammy speeches, and all the dramatic declarations, when the cameras turn off, they stay. Every last one of them. Because no matter how much they complain, they know the truth. There is nowhere better. That's the takeaway. America isn't perfect, far from it, but it's still the best shot humanity has at freedom, opportunity, and prosperity. That's why millions risk everything to cross oceans and borders. And that's why the loudest complainers, no matter how much they claim to hate it here, never actually leave . So the next time you hear some celebrity threaten to abandon the US if things don't go their way, just remember, they're bluffing. Tomorrow, they'll still be sipping lattes in Beverly Hills, living a life most people on Earth could only dream of. And maybe that's the real joke. They don't hate America, they love it. They just love the sound of their own voices more. So what do you think? Should celebrities just zip it and stop pretending they're martyrs? Or do you think they actually believe the stuff they say? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious if anyone takes these threats seriously. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We've got plenty more where this came from. Because at the end of the day, America isn't the nightmare. It's the dream. And the people threatening to leave, they're the punchline.